The Crown Prince bit back the intense pain, glared at Juo Fan with pure hatred, and rasped out an order. Elder Hu, kill him right now. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, there's no way he's getting out alive. I'll make sure you're satisfied. The man spoke with total confidence before turning his gaze toward Juo Fan. Suddenly, his face went pale and he barked out, "So, it's actually you." Juo Fan kept a straight face, showing absolutely no emotion. Just then, a young guy next to Elder Hu stepped forward with a mean look and said, "You might have forgotten us, but we've never let this grudge go. After successfully taking over these new bodies, we swore we'd track you down no matter where you hid to get our revenge. Who would have thought you'd just walk right into your own death like this? This must be fate, because today, you're definitely a dead man." He laughed like a maniac, releasing such an intense pressure that everyone nearby struggled to breathe. Even the top-tier radiant stage experts were terrified. Is this really the insane power of an ethereal stage expert? This kind of strength was just on another level, way beyond anything they could have imagined. "Elder Lang, you guys have some history with this kid." The high priest chimed in, trying to suck up. "Well, that's great then. Let's just settle all the old and new scores once and for all today." Elder Lang's eyes turned bloodshot with rage. "This isn't just some random beef. I'll never forget the guy who trashed my original body years ago." While he was talking, a massive red dragon claw suddenly appeared out of nowhere, snatched up all four of them, and hoisted them into the air. They tried to struggle, but realized both their bodies and souls were completely locked down, leaving them totally paralyzed. Elder Hu looked at the owner of the claw and stammered in shock. "How can someone at the radiant stage like you manifest such a ridiculously powerful soul?" The crimson dragon claw emerged from behind Juo Fan like a third arm, holding the four of them with ease. Juo Fan looked at them coldly, sounding annoyed. "If you were lucky enough to survive, you should have just stayed quiet and lived your lives, so why do you keep bringing out the past with me?" A split second later, the claw crushed them, blowing them to bits and spraying blood all over the people nearby. Before any of the four could even let out a scream, their souls were completely wiped out. The two ethereal stage experts had their souls destroyed, putting a brutal end to their arrogant lives. Everyone was stunned because they never expected ethereal stage experts and peak radiant stage masters to be taken out so easily. At that moment, Juoba Taishan's group looked at Juo Fan and the Juoba Li Feng siblings, finally realizing why they had tried so hard to stop them earlier. It was because Juo Fan's power had now reached a level way beyond a normal person's limits. They were already scared of ethereal stage experts, so they definitely didn't want to mess with someone who could crush them like bugs. The 8 wolf wardens backed away, their bodies shaking uncontrollably. They had zero intention of comparing themselves to him or fighting him anymore. Back then, they couldn't beat Juo Fan one-on-one but could still use their numbers to get the upper hand. But now, that wasn't even an option, because Juo Fan had reached a realm that was simply beyond their comprehension. Everyone stared at Juo Fan with eyes full of fear and unease. In this world, ethereal stage experts are as powerful as gods and nobody dares to cross them. Meanwhile, Juo Fan was someone who could wipe out those very gods, making them even more terrified to touch him if they wanted to stay alive. Juo Fan pulled back the dragon claw and asked the 6th prince why this little thing kept pointing toward that mountain over there. The 6th prince found it weird, looked around, and replied that it was just a regular scenic spot in the palace where he played since he was a kid. Juo Fan scoped out the area and chuckled, saying it was a stealth formation powered by Saint's Spirit Stones which made it hard to spot. Then he decided to break it. Juo Fan's right eye suddenly started glowing with a strange light. Instantly, the space shook violently and an invisible shockwave surged straight ahead. After a massive boom, the air in front of them cracked and shattered like a mirror. A pitch-black, deep cavern appeared right before everyone's eyes. The flower spirit quickly pointed ahead to confirm that was the place they were looking for. Juo Fan gave a satisfied smirk and started heading toward it. The Quanmong Emperor suddenly shouted out, telling Juo Fan to stop. Juo Fan turned his head back to look. The Emperor regained his composure and warned him seriously that no matter who he was, going in there was dangerous because this barrier both protected and threatened their very existence. "Once I want something, nobody can stop me, but thanks for the heads up," Juo Fan answered nonchalantly and jumped into the pit. Right after that, the 6th prince prepared to follow him. The Emperor worriedly called out the 6th prince's name to try and stop him. "Father, I've actually known about this place for a long time." The 6th prince laughed and told his father he saw it as a royal disgrace that needed to be exposed, and he believed Juo Fan was the only one who could pull it off. After saying that, The sixth prince also jumped down into the cavern. The emperor couldn't stop him in time, so he just closed his eyes in helplessness. Juo Taishan asked the emperor in surprise about what this place really was. The emperor just sighed and shook his head without giving an answer. Juo Taishan became even more curious about who those people really were. Right then, Juo Lioner also quickly jumped down after them. Juo Li Feng rushed after her, shouting his sister's name. Juo Taishan was extremely worried as he watched all this unfold. The emperor comforted the marshal, hoping that the man who could kill ethereal stage experts would protect them, while also asking him to take the sixth prince into hiding later. Juo Taishan stared at the emperor in shock with a very serious expression. He wondered why the emperor was asking him to take the prince into hiding and if the situation was really that bad. The emperor looked at the crown prince with angry eyes and ordered him to be taken away. Juo Taishan felt a shiver down his spine and grew even more fearful of the situation. Down below, Chuo Fan landed at the bottom of the pit and spotted a long, winding path ahead. The flower spirit pointed the way, and Chuo Fan nodded before moving forward. Suddenly, he heard some screaming coming from above. Chuo Fan shook his head in annoyance and stepped aside to dodge. Right after that, there were 3 loud thuds as the sixth princess group slammed into the ground. Why did you guys follow me? Chuo Fan warned them that this place was protected by a high-level formation way beyond any worldly control, and it could get them killed. The 3 of them struggled just to get back on their feet.